Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Glorya Kaufman International Dance Center. It's my pleasure and honor to serve as the dean. I'm Dr. Julia Ritter. Welcome. Thank you for that. This is a wonderful opportunity to bring multiple voices together across campus, across the city, and internationally. And we thank you for being here for this very special conversation. We are welcoming today Yuanyuan Wang, co-founder and artistic director of Beijing Dance Theater. She is joining us for the first time as artist in residence. I'm delighted also to be joined by Jennifer Maguire, chair of the Los Angeles Ballet, who will also be part of our conversation today. And we'll bring Jennifer up after we share some dance with you. I want to give a warm thank you to our partners and co-hosts, USC Center for Public Diplomacy and Glenn Osaki. Glenn is the managing director of CPD and director of the USC US-China Institute. We also have Julie Deho-Bedos, interim director and diplomat in residence of CPD. We are also very glad to have Roxanne Messina-Captor from the California Arts Council with us today. Welcome, Roxanne. And thank you to all of you for being here to support artists and especially dance artists, so thank you for that. I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge our founder, Glorya Kaufman, an extraordinary philanthropist and lover of dance. We would not be here without Glorya's generosity. Glorya passed in August, so we miss her deeply. I know she would absolutely adore this program, so we just always give our thanks to Glorya. So please, let's give it up for Glorya. A few other people I'd like to thank: our Assistant Dean of Programming and Special Projects, Jackie Kopcsak. Yes, let's give Jackie a hand. Thomas Ford is our faculty representative working with Yuanyuan this semester. Thank you, Thomas. And of course, we thank our production team, Callen, Gosselin, and Anthony Tapia. So thank you to everyone. We're going to begin actually with dance. Hooray, hooray. So we'll have a brief demonstration. I'll invite Yuanyuan up to the microphone and she'll take it from here. Then we'll have we'll take a moment to reset and have everybody up here, and then we'll continue the conversation. Yuanyuan, welcome.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you. I don't know what I say today. It's just so exciting. And so many people come here. That's make me thinking contemporary dance is so important. That's why, that's the reason that everybody joined together. Then that's the reason I come here. Then Julia can invite so many people and come to this event. So I think that's not because me, it's because dance, it's because contemporary dance, because our body let us join together. So this month I choreograph a new piece for Kaufman Dance. It's the first time I work with a student here, but I'm so impressed that dancer's body there. So many energy and then something I never see before, because it's different training with a different dance body, and maybe let them show a little bit phrase first, then we can continue talk about contemporary dance, how important, and then what influence me and influence what I thinking. Okay, so not for phrase, because I just started working last week. So in past 1 week, I working 4 days. For that, I just show some phrase. And I want to say something until the opening night. I wish opening night everybody can come here. Okay, please.
Your name, where you're from originally, and what year you are.
Hi, I'm Cameron Kennedy. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama, and I am a first year.
Hi, my name is Emma Marcelana. I'm from San Jose, California, and I'm a second year.
Hello, my name is Caleb Beya. I am from Woodbury, Minnesota, and I am a first year.
Howdy, I'm Megan Matthew. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I'm a second year.
Dancers, thank you so much. So, Yuanyuan, am I correct that this was 4 days of rehearsal? 4 or 5 days of rehearsal? Yes. So I think they deserve another hand, right? Sorry. Thank you, dancers. Yuanyuan, please come, Jennifer. Yes, I think we have some other microphones coming up here. So we work fast. Work very, very fast. Yeah. So welcome, that's beautiful. My goodness. There is one person I want to recognize who I forgot earlier. Yufei, can you just come out and raise your hand, Yufei? Yes. So Yufei is a company member in Yuanyuan's company, Beijing Dance Theater, and he's been here working with the dancers. So very, very happy to have you with us, Yufei. So I thought we might start with Yuanyuan just talking a little bit about what we just saw, and then maybe going backwards into your background that kind of led us to that. So maybe if you can tell us a little bit about how the process started with the dancers, what you had in your mind arriving, and what you learned when you got here, when you met them.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw the dancers last year when I was here, right? So I recognize a little bit about the dancers different with who we work with, in Beijing, the Chinese dancer. The body in their they have so many energy, and everyone are different. They have a individual style, and what I think is I want to dig deeply from their body, then find the movement they can present themselves, become the dancers I thinking about that. Yeah, I think for the energy and the body moving parts, how to say that, they have so many possibility. So it's not like I really know about my dancer, what they can present, what they can dance. So I know them very well. So for me, I really want to find that something different, different from their body. So I see the dancers, and then I don't want to. And also I think at the very beginning, I think maybe I need to find something really Chinese, or it's the label or the ethnic label to the dancer's body. But finally, I think no, I don't want to do that. I think they just cross the energy. I want to put something in that my way, then into the body, see what happened. I think see what happened is the important in the process. It's cross culture. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So in the past week and the 4 days rehearsal, I just try to give the dancers something I feel good into the body.
There's what I'm hearing in that is that you had an idea, but when you met the dancers, you realized there's lots of different dance literacies and languages in their bodies. So you wanted to watch them. I think we're also curious what all languages live in your body, the background of your training. How did you come to contemporary dance?
That's complicated. Yeah, because in our Chinese dance education, each dance major really separate. when you choose the ballet training from your 10 years old into the Beijing Dance Academy high school, then you have to keep study just one major, like a ballet. Or if you choose the classical Chinese, or if you choose folk dance, that's totally different major, and or musical. So we have so many different major. But the training is from very beginning. Then the dancers select by the school really hard. You have to measure your body, and like a 3,000 student and only select 10 or 15 for 1 year. So it's really hard to get in. So everyone is just keep one major. And I think the technique for the Chinese dancers is really good. Then for me, I at the very beginning from my childhood study and choose the Chinese classical dance, because that year when I do the application, there's no ballet major. So I just choose the classical Chinese dance. Then during the academy year in Beijing Dance Academy, I transferred to choreography and contemporary dance. Then in my generation, it's the first year Beijing Dance Academy have the contemporary dance major. So it's a new department. So I'm the first year student in my school at that year. Now after that, I just be asked to be a faculty and teacher. I was teaching the modern dance technique and the choreography. But at that time, I feel I'm so young to accept this job. Even I worked there for 5 years and feel teaching student, I need to absorb more from life, and I need to more experience. So I went to Cal Arts. Then I went to Cal Arts to study choreography and contemporary production, dance and production. I think that's an important experience for me. So I transfer different style. And when I was graduated back to China, and so many ballet company asked me to choreograph the modern dance or contemporary dance for them, because they need to have some dancer take part in the ballet competition. So start out, I work a lot of work with a ballet company. So I know ballet dancer well, and I start to accept some job from like a Royal Danish Ballet, Hong Kong Ballet, and like a New York City Ballet. So I did a lot of work in the ballet company, and then so it's make me like I can select some material, different material, put on the dancers. Then I used to get used to know, oh, there's a new dancers in that company. There's another kind of style dancer in different companies. So for me, just like working all around the world until 2008, I found my own company.
So we wanted to also talk about your international career really inspired the topic of dance and diplomacy, because without it being your intent or your primary intent, it gave you an opportunity to bridge multiple countries and cultures, and also to travel your own country. And so Julia and I also wanted to sort of talk about how in our lifetimes as people in the dance world, we've perceived the opportunity for diplomacy that dance can offer. And I mean, I sort of started thinking about this and realized that my very first ballet class was in Japan, because my father had a Fulbright scholarship, which is also obviously a source of a great deal of diplomacy. And I lived there at the age of 4, which is when they allowed you to start doing ballet training in Japan. And everything was very codified, as you can imagine. And so everything was white for that age group. So the leotard and the shoes were white. And then one of the other strong memories I have, but it's also ballet, is when I was in third grade and living in California. We still had the Cold War. The Kirov came to America, but it was an extraordinary tour and almost unprecedented that they came. And so even though it was quite a distance to get to San Francisco and see them perform, my mother made sure we did that. And that marked me because that's when you realize that there was all of this dance going on in countries that were closed to us, and we were closed to them. And the next phenomenon was, of course, defections, which had been happening, but happened a bit more in the 70s, of dancers leaving the Soviet Union and having amazing careers that really publicized their training and their ability. And then, of course, the Chinese dancer, Mao's last dancer, who also defected in the 80s, and ended up at Houston Ballet, where I think we have a Houston dancer who just performed. So he left a mark there. So all of these experiences were about cultures that weren't necessarily friendly to each other, although Japan and the US were getting along a lot better by the time I was there. But I mean, the fact that you could unite people and excite people without any issue looming over that about where they were coming from, I think left a really strong impression on me. And I think it speaks to a lot of things that we're experiencing today about nationalism and chauvinism and countries taking sides about things. So, I mean, I think for you, how much have you felt a need to sort of defend or represent that which is best about your country as you've moved around? Has that been a question in your mind or something you've thought about?
I think at the very beginning on the international stage, I often think about, should I perform or dance the pure contemporary dance, modern dance, which way I learn from Europe, from Western, or I dance something, put the label, present the ethnic symbol into the dance. So at the very beginning, I struggle. It was a struggle with this two-way. So what is the contemporary dance? Very important to me. And finally, I feel it's because it's required no translation. That's the important things. So you don't need to really think about, what we learn, what is the right things, what is contemporary dance or modern dance is, or this movement is, or this person is not. So, or when we perform, we just say, "Oh, I'm Chinese. I'm come from." So you have to know. So I think nothing important about that one. Or other human beings from this global language. We need to speak together. Should not put some symbol. I think from the body, and you learn. I learned the classical Chinese dance. Some training already into my body. My blood is Chinese. Then your movements is Chinese. Already there. There's something you cannot lose if you dance some contemporary dance. You cannot lose it Chinese way. But when you dance contemporary dance, and then the movement asks you have to be something, always find something new. That's the contemporary dance tell me about that. Then I learned the courage. I learned your freedom. Then I learned that you have to find yourself, speed up, then for yourself. Then what you speak, then I think that blood into my body already, and this is from the training. So what the movement I created on the dancer's body is there. So it's already there. So I think not really think about right side or left side, know that one. And in China, we have a sentence we say, if you stand higher, you can see everything smaller. Yeah, that's mean you don't need to think about yourself. You think about human being. Actually, we don't in the culture we don't want to fight each other. What is your thing about not mine? It's not fighting each other. We just want to cross each other, then see we all the people living in the world. It's a global language. I love contemporary dance because whatever I dance on the international stage, everybody can understand. Yeah.
Wow. I think that was just such a beautiful, transcendent summary of how one artist's journey gave so much perspective.
Yeah, I love what you said about the crossing because, and what you're talking about identity, representation, what does it mean to be an artist working in a form and understanding your own cultural background and using that as a way to be porous and move into other spaces. The first time I met Yuanyuan was actually at a gathering, and I want to shout out one of our board members who's not here, but Renee Williams-Niles, who organized just a very informal gathering of artists in Los Angeles, dance artists, and Yuanyuan was there. And I'll be 100% transparent. I was so enthralled by how she was talking about her artwork, not necessarily from the background of your Chinese identity, but just how she was conceptualizing working with dancers, how she talked about communication with dancers. And that's something that myself and also Jackie, who is our resident curator, I'll say, we're always mindful of, because we're looking for choreographers and artists to come into the Kaufman community that can share in a very open, empathetic, compassionate way in which there's a dialogic relationship set up from the beginning. So I'm curious, just when you walked into the room with the dancers the first time, what was in your mind in terms of starting the encounter with them? Because I feel like that's so much about diplomacy, is about setting up the stage. To me, diplomacy and dance are fundamentally about relationship negotiation, right? That's what it is. And there's so much choreography in diplomacy, right? I mean, we think about, where do people sit in the room when they're having a conversation? Who speaks first? What gestures would be appropriate? What would not be appropriate? So for me, it's, I think, all choreography. So I'm curious how you choreographed the first encounter to kind of step across with these new dancers.
Yeah. Actually, when we work with a USC dancer, the idea is we work at the Huntington Library. You remember that? That's the first idea. But at that idea, I think that working at the Huntington Library, Chinese garden, I have an image. The environment is really presenting like a Chinese style, and what I know what the kind of image can present in that area is better, is really look Chinese. But finally we transfer this idea to the real stage, right? So for me, I have a little bit transformation. The work I need to change. Yeah, and then I start think about what I should give the dancers. In our Chinese kind of dance training, we start from inside. The movement comes from the inside. We need to breathe first, then we do the movement. And for the Chinese dance, and all the movements with line in circle. So like a body, like the breath, we need to breathe in, then breathe out, like this. So the image for the Chinese dance is always with a nice circle and the eyes line, and into that is inside that then work the energy is the line of the breath. So that's the Chinese dance come from. So everything from inside. And I learned the dancers from here, the energy is themselves. So the body, the muscle, and the passion, and also the eye when they're looking for me, are different. So I received the energy from the outside body into them. So there's two kind of the crossway, the vertebrae. So when I create the movement on their bodies, so I think I'm really good observe them and see them and I think about that. And before the rehearsal, I work with my dancers together and think, oh, what kind of movements really they can look good on their body. So I give some stronger movement or stronger things and present themselves. So after that, I can see the line on the body, and I can see the energy from the body. So I can finally see both cross together. So it's not like a Chinese way. Then it's not really Western way, right? So but it's get together and really good on them, I think. Yeah.
I think I love the idea again, the taking in of what they are offering, and being porous in that way. That you're, there are certainly approaches to choreography where someone would come into the room and say, "This is what you're going to learn, imitate me." But you have a very different way of approaching that, which I think is why we invited you here.
So it's wonderful. So one of the things that we hope to explore with you, which I think is very relevant to this audience, and certainly to me, because I'm a founding board member of Los Angeles Ballet, which is really a startup. Los Angeles has not historically been able to or grown a ballet company. So we are not the first endeavor, but the first endeavor to make it this far, actually past 10 years. We're on our 20th. And unlike China, where, at least as you described in the schools, there's this governmental entity that makes these very tough decisions very selectively, but at the same time, you've been able to found and establish a dance company without being selected or endorsed or fundamentally subsidized by the Chinese government. And I think we in Los Angeles understand that that's a very tall, very daunting endeavor. Can you share with us how you first thought of it and then set about doing it?
At the beginning, I don't know. That's so difficult. At the very beginning, I didn't realize that's difficult things. That so many things follow. So, yeah. But I really want to have some place I can always work with my dancers, then like research the body and create my own things. So at that year, the 2008, I asked Beijing Culture Department, then asked them if I can apply some grant, then to have some to create a new production. Then they told me, oh, if you have your own company, we can support you to produce some new things. But actually, it's you have to apply year and year every time with new production. So at the very beginning, I didn't realize this work is so difficult. Yeah. So. But contemporary dance is not supported by government funding annually. They only funding the classical Chinese dance company and the ballet company. Is difficult for the running the business like that. So
we do understand that.
Yeah. So it's like
well.
I play two roles. One is the artist, choreographer. then another role is I need to communicate with like a businessman. I talk to the agent in out of the China, then let them buy our performance. So our running the company just like sell the tickets one by one. So in the past 18 years, and then luckily our dance company sold very well in the Europe, and we have been performing in American few times. We went to Washington D.C., New York, and Houston, and San Diego. I think not Los Angeles, but next time maybe. Yeah. I think we just really work hard on the performance very well. For next time, I can ask a job from the LA Ballet. Yeah.
We'll see about that.
So, and also there's another transfer is my husband is my lighting and set designer, so I don't need to spend money on him. Yeah.
Los Angeles Ballet was co-founded by a husband and wife team, so we are familiar with that concept.
Yeah. So save some money. Yeah. Then he's really helped to the production. So it's kind of like it's easier than other contemporary dance company. And my dancer, they're really, really good. I love them. They love to travel with me all over the world. Yeah, so the company just keep running. Yeah.
Well, I think what I heard is if you realized how daunting it was going to be and how challenging, you might not have done it. But you went into it one step at a time, and then you were in too deep to turn back.
I'm wondering a little bit about if you could talk a little bit about your work at the Beijing Olympics, because we are looking forward to Olympics being here too. So I'm just curious, as a choreographer, that is such an international platform. Can you just talk a little bit about what you were thinking when you made that work? Yeah.
Wow. That's really big job, really big work, and so many people work together. So that's totally different with you work with your own company or school, and that's a experience. I worked twice with Olympic. Once 2008 with the Olympic opening the summer, and the 2022 the Winter Olympic opening ceremony. So this 2 times I work with Zhang Yimou. So that work is, I think, totally different with work in US. It's like a whole group choreographer. Each choreographer you have to in charge in one part, and everything you have to report to Zhang Yimou. Then the Zhang Yimou leader by a group of government people, or everything needs you to, if you cannot, if not good, if they have to ask you do again. Yeah. So then in
There's
that,
quite a bit of government oversight in those cases, correct?
I think the decision is by the group, the final decision by the group, but Zhang Yimou lead us to choreograph or direct each pieces, each parts. It's like working like that. In that group, you need to work very well with people communication. Yeah. Then so many dancers. I think in 2008, I don't remember the number. It's over 1,000 in one piece. So you need to work with students or some martial arts school student or real student in high school students. So that arranged by the Department of Education during the summer. So they don't need to go to school, then rehearse every day with you. It's like that. So that's why we have we can manage well because everybody get together. They support So not for money, not for everything. It's only support for this ceremony. So everybody want to present not themselves, is present the country. So I think that's the power of government. They give the support to the artists to finish this work. It's from top to end. It's like that. So I don't think it's the same way work in US. So every artist, maybe they have an individual idea and innovation style. I don't know. So it only can happen in China. The big work I think only can happen in China because whole country is work for one things. So the artists get a really good support from them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a little different. I think this 2 times it was a little different. And the first time working with Zhang Yimou in the 2008, we just want to present our country's history and the strong power. And we use so many dancers, thousands and thousands each pieces. But the second time in 2022, we didn't use that idea. We just want to peace and want to focus on the sports. I think focus on the human being. It's not really to express the power of country. It's just back to the human being. I think that's different change for this 2 ceremony. Mm-hmm.
When you travel in China, is there a big difference between, say, the audience in Shanghai and the audience in San Diego? Or do you feel, how are you received outside of Beijing in China?
Because in China, we have so many kind of dance company, ballet company, and classical Chinese company. Classical Chinese company, they all have a big production, and contemporary dance in China is a small part of that. It's like not many people, but not many audience in China, but only in the Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, some big city, the people, they like contemporary dance. But if you see all over China, most people, they still focus on the classical Chinese dance. Yeah, but if you say what's different between in China and
In the more cosmopolitan cities that know contemporary dance, is it similar to being in Europe or America? Or?
But if Europe people, Europe dance company perform in China, they receive the audience very well. Yeah, it's like in Chinese people, we always want to see new things. We learn new things. We love to receive something from outside of China. I think that's the Chinese culture. We welcome the friends from outside China, global, and then visit China. I think that's the Chinese people. I see. Then when we perform in China, I think not better than we perform in Europe or US. The audience is like a full house and give closet for like 5 minutes. So from that, I do what I talked before. The contemporary dance is international language for the body. So no matter where you come from, what your background is, what your language is, or the diverse body training or background. So everybody speaks the same language. That's why we understand each other, because the contemporary dance. That's why I think Chinese contemporary dance growing up in China right now. So in each big city, that we already have some a small company or personal studio. They starting to present themselves their
really
own.
spread.
Yeah, they spread very well already. Now the Chinese choreographer already have a big work in Europe. I think it's a really big change in past 10 years. Yeah.
Just in the last 10 years. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you mentioned when we met earlier that you're starting to feel more support for your own work because in terms of contemporary dance, within China, because they're recognizing the power, right? And do you think that's also because they've seen the reception in inviting companies from Europe in that the powers that be, so to speak, have seen the reception of the audiences of contemporary? Because you seemed hopeful for even more opportunities and support from the government.
Yeah, I think that's the important when the contemporary dance present in outside of China, like performing in Europe or US, and we receive a lot of good things. Then the report and I think the audiences all from the world. It's not only Chinese people. That's important because we want to communicate. And so sometimes we apply for some grant from governments, then sometimes for travel, then sometimes for new production, or depending on the project. Yeah, but most time the government love to support the classical Chinese more than us, because we're usually the small company. You so only have 20 people totally, and like 14 dancers and a few technicians and in travel, but it's the same money for government actually. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we can get the support from them. Then the most money they spend is a classical Chinese performance, but they can see the audience. Contemporary dance always with the people, the local people. They come to the performances, local people. It's not only Chinese. That's the important things. I think each the contemporary dance connect Eastern and Eastern and Western, and connect with the China and the US. I think that's the important things.
Oh, do we have time for any questions, Julia? Is that
We certainly do. We have about 10 minutes, so I think it would be great to open it up. Thanks, Yuanyuan, and we'll open it up to some questions from the audience. Yes? I think we have a microphone. Can we maybe pass it? That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Early 70s, between 1970 and 78, I worked in an international organization with the UK and also US and the regional member countries, Pakistan, Iran, and Turkey. We had lavish parties, cocktail parties, dinner parties, and almost all those parties, when there was dance, it was the frosting of the cake. The beauty of it is it dissolved all the hierarchy in diplomacy. So it kind of gave chance to people to negotiate. That's my experience in 8 years. And when it comes to iconic dance, I can't forget President Obama's 2016 visit to Argentina. He did that wonderful Argentina tango. It was an iconic, and the whole world heard about it. So we need this in a world that is disarray and problematic. So maybe these dances would help us to get together, get closer, and have the connection. That's my experience.
Thank you so much. What is your name? Nice to meet you. Yes, I think that's so important because as Jennifer mentioned before, in the Cold War, we saw some extraordinary international diplomatic projects with the Kirov and other ballet, and there has been a diminishment, I think, of those kinds of large-scale projects. But I think continuing to have conversations like this and making activities and events like this happen, maybe we can start some momentum. Yeah.
I have another question.
Hello, I have a couple of questions. The first one is about how do you find the discipline of dancers in classical ballet dance in China and the ones that you use in contemporary dance, and how do you find the different languages both in with your own dancers and the dancers that you find as you travel? So that's my first question. And then I have a second one. We hosted at Loyola Marymount a month ago Dimitris Papaioannou, who did the Athens 2004 Olympics. And he was talking about how he was asked to do a performance with a lot of dancers. And his pushback immediately was, this will happen in China. It's not going to happen in Greece because, as you said, this 1,000 dancers of working together is a display of power and dance and display of Chinese collaboration that is really particular to that to this group. So I wanted you to tell me if you have any comments about studying the Athens 2004 Olympics, because I know that this was discussed in China in publications at the time of how this new language was opening a kind of a new platform of showcasing a culture for the world. So this kind of outreach to the world. So these are two different questions, but I thought I'd make both of them.
What was the first one? It's,
The first
how
one is
to
about
find-
discipline of ballet and contemporary dance and the comparison of Chinese and contemporary and Chinese and ballet and the contemporary dance around the world, the kind of discipline that you find, because I found inspiring the way that you work with dancers where you feel their energy and you come in and there's this dialogue. And I'm not sure if this is really what you would find in Chinese classical ballet. I'm not sure. I'm asking.
I love all of kind of dance. Yeah, I think all the dancer they have their own charming body. Even like a ballet or hip hop is like a totally different. But I get the something push me from that kind of dance. I think each kind of dance there have something you can let me feel the culture. Yeah. Then, for example, the hip hop dance right now is really, really popular in China. I can imagine that in 10 or 20 years ago, is that possible? Because in Chinese people, we always want to keep calm. Yeah, we want to ourselves control our emotion. So it's not really present themselves. But I think that's the things when the culture exchange more and more, then really influence the people. So the content, the like a hip hop dance is really popular in China right now. And for me, I really love to my dancers with all different kind of style. For example, like my dancers, when they finish work, the rehearsal with me actually is really tired. Then they went to some hip hop studio to learn hip hop, to enjoy themselves. And I think each kind of style have something inside. They always can find something. The dance, the movement, I can present them the inside what you're thinking, right?
But the word you chose, discipline, is actually got two meanings, right, in English. One means a métier, right, an actual genre, and one means the strength of self-mastery. So I wasn't clear whether you were asking about both or whether you were asking Yuanyuan, do you see a difference in the degree of intensity and mastery among those different genres, or do you feel that they all have their own level of mastery that's comparable?
Not really understand the question. What do
No,
you
because
say?
the word discipline
Because
is a
yeah,
multifaceted
my,
word.
my English is not that good.
Oh, I
Not
think
good
your
than
English is
dance.
excellent. I think your English is excellent, but I think it was a very nuanced question.
Yeah, I think if I may, I think what I was hearing from what you said is that every dancer that approaches a form, I think ultimately has to make a decision. To Jennifer's point, how much are they going to invest themselves in the mastery of that form? And that really kind of you think about the discipline. I mean, for example, here at Kaufman, the dancers are studying so many different forms, but I know there are ones in their hearts that they feel that, oh, this is the one I love, either because I really excel at it, or there's something about it I want to master. So there's something about that. Yeah.
I think no matter what you dance, the final things you want to present to yourself. So no matter what you want to dance, even ballet or hip hop or contemporary, no matter the dance form is, but finally it's for human being themselves, the human, what we're thinking, what we understand the word, what we receive from the word, from the outside, and then we observe inside the body, then we give out to the audience. I think no matter what.
The second part of your question, I think, was fascinating. It was based on, if I'll rephrase it, if I may, when you were creating for the 2008 or the colleagues you were in dialogue with, were they looking at the Athens production at all for inspiration, for studying it? In what ways was there information from the Athens Olympics productions that influenced the creation of that in China?
I think the aesthetic Asian is like a influence us, and yeah, I think at that time, everybody worked together just for presenting the whole work better. Then nobody want to get the little thing wrong or space wrong. Nobody want to do that. Just want to have the whole image right. So at that time, I think every performer forgotten themselves. They just want to be part of the whole production. Yeah.
Yeah, real collective excellence. Yep. Another question? We have time for one last question. Yes.
You've been talking mostly about going to other countries within Europe and within the United States, and I know you're a small company, but would you ever think of going to maybe any of the other Asian countries, or as the first questioner asked about Argentina, like Central South America, Australia, New Zealand? I know those are big, very far away, but any thoughts about that, going to other countries, not just Europe and the United States?
We have been to almost 40 countries in the world. Yeah, the further one, we have the Iceland, then the further Chile in the South America, Colombia, Ecuador. Then we travel to Europe, most of the Europe country already, but the Asian country, we only went to Cambodia, Thailand, Japan, and Singapore. That kind of country. So not not many as Europe country. Yeah.
Still, that's a fantastic reach that you've been able to achieve.
The happiness things for dancers that is travel. Yeah, they look around the world. Yeah.
Extraordinary international impact that you've had, Yuanyuan. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you all so much for being here. We have Well, it's just 12, but I'm sure if there are any questions that you didn't get a chance, Yuanyuan, and we'll stay up here for just a few minutes. Again, thank you to the Center for Public Diplomacy. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Yuanyuan.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, dancers.
Thank you, Julia.